Hey, what's up? It's Tuba Billy. So, I was watching Steven Crowder's latest Change My Mind, and he did another version of There Are Only Two Genders, and talked with a female, non-binary. She said she was queer. I don't know. Anyway, talked with her, and you know, actually had a civil conversation. And Steven Crowder even said we have agreed on basically nothing, but we have had a civil discussion, which is awesome that she's a college student and able to do that. One thing that she brought up, though, now I am going to use she because I don't know. I just don't know. Anyway, one thing she brought up was about the post 9/11 world. So this younger generation has grown up fully post 9/11, like no they knew nothing of life before 9/11. And so ever since then, there's always been, you know, I guess heightened awareness, heightened stress and anxiety. And so they likened it to, Steven likened it to, you know, chronic versus acute. So acute means it's, you know, short term, you know, something that stresses you out. Acute anxiety lasts, you know, a limited time. But this chronic anxiety that she is talking about is an interesting concept. It's led to more mental health issues, this chronic anxiety. Also, you know, I think the, you know, advent of social media, being constantly connected. Gen Z is showing more mental health issues than any other generation, including the generation that was storming the beaches of Normandy, you know, at 17, 18 years old. You know, some of them younger if they lied on their enlistment documents. But they had, and the point that Steven made was they had a purpose then. Their purpose was, you know, to fight for their country. Okay, World War II, we were attacked like never before. And, you know, 2011 or 2001, we were attacked like never before. A civilian target of terrorists. Well, and for a short time, what's going on here? Just want to be careful. There's no gravel on the road. For a short time, you know, we had a purpose, but it quickly got sidetracked. It got swept up in the political arena until people didn't feel a purpose anymore. And that's kind of what I have said for a long time about, oh gosh, we're stressing me out. I've said a long time about these, you know, these young kids who need a label. They need an identity. Well, this chronic anxiety has led to this never before seen cases of, you know, a number of cases of mental health issues, mental disorders. And so this generation does not have a purpose. And so they're seeking for a purpose. They're seeking for an identity. And right now, social media, influencers and all this stuff is giving them their identity. And they think to have their identity, they need to be marginalized. They need to be, you know, saying, oh, I'm a minority, because they're the ones that get talked about all the time. That's how they feel important. That's how they feel needed. But when in reality, if they had a stronger sense of purpose, stronger sense of identity, then it would not be an issue. So that's why I want to teach my kids who they are, what they stand for. Give them a purpose. Help them to find their identity so that they aren't confused. It's just, and you know, my wife read an article to me, I don't know where it was from, but it was saying that you know, education is behind because of the pandemics. Like, who was saying that in the middle of all the lockdowns, when kids weren't going to school, saying these kids are going to be left behind, they're going to be impacted for life? Well, that was us, and we got censored for it. We got silenced. We got we got ridiculed because we weren't saying what was popular. But that is my thought on why we've seen so much of an increase in youth mental health issues, mental disorders, gender dysphoria, all these different things. And instead of addressing the issues, addressing the cause, the so-called experts are giving into it. It's like if you have somebody who has, you know, paranoid schizophrenia, you don't feed into that. And, you know, another thing they got into was the suicide rates of trans people, trans kids. You know, 40%. And no other group throughout history had that high of a suicidal rate. Not even the slaves in early America, or in any time, because, you know, Americans, we didn't invent slavery. Sorry to burst your bubble there. It's been going on for a long time, since, pretty much the beginning of humans. Anyway, not even the Jews during the Holocaust and concentration camps, they didn't have the same level of suicides. But 40%, and then it doesn't change after the kids transition. They're still up there. So you're doing experiments on them with no actual proof that it helps, with verified proof that it does not help. You know, 85 to 97%, I think that's what the stats are, of adolescents who exhibit gender dysphoria, if left alone and not encouraged, it resolves itself by the time puberty's done. Puberty's a wicked thing. Once all those hormones get leveled out, they're like, oh yeah, okay, that was a phase. But now we're putting kids on puberty blockers. We're wanting to do gender affirming care, which is pretty much chopping off body parts to help them identify with their phase, their gender dysphoric phase. No wonder the kids are so messed up. It's heartbreaking to watch. You know, and the left paints guys like me as, you know, uncaring, unfeeling, homophobic, bigots, blah, blah. No, we care. I care so much that to know that what you're doing doesn't help. And so I'm saying, you showing that you care is not caring. You're not improving the issue. You're, if anything, making it worse. These kids need an identity. They need a purpose. They need to be taught who they are. And unfortunately, they live in a world where they're bombarded with all this negativity, dead deer, constantly. And so there's no wonder why Gen Z has more mental health issues than any other generation. I mean, gosh, I think it was their great-grandparents? Is that the generation? So it'd be, yeah, my grandparents. So there's kind of generations, millennials are making the Gen Zs. So yeah. So their great-grandparents are the ones that were storming the beaches of Normandy. They're the ones that were signing up to go fight in the World War. And that quickly, they have no identity, no purpose. Comes back to a saying that I've said many times. Let's see if I can get it right. It's good times create weak men. Weak men create good times. No, sorry. Good times create weak men. Weak men create bad times. Bad times create strong men. And then strong men create good times. It's a cycle. Right now, we are in the weak men creating hard times. So, men need to stand up and learn who they are. You don't need to be beaten over the head with toxic masculinity and, you know, men are the problem and blah, 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 men suck. It's like, no. The world needs men. Real men. The world needs women, too. But the world needs men. We need dads. Anyone can be a father, but it takes a real man to be a dad. Anyway. Learn who you are. Find your identity for yourself. Don't let media, don't let social influencers tell you who you are. Be excellent to each other. Tuba Billy signing out. God be with you till we meet again.